What's up, Nail Geeks? I am back with Glam Polish's The Lost Princess collection. This is a 10-piece set inspired by Disney's Tangled. These are so lovely and vibrant, so let's dive right into what she's got. First up is Eugene. This is a teal crelly with shifting iridescent flakes and ultra hollow glitter. This has a very crelly-like formula to me. It somewhat leans just a touch more on the jelly side, but it levels out very lovely, just like a cream. And for opacity, I'm going to suggest 2 coats on it. Now, if you are rocking somewhat longer nails than what I've got, then I would suggest you might need a 3rd coat, or if you have a really prominent free edge, then you might need that 3rd coat. But to be honest, I thought 2 coats was perfect on it. Now this one has quite a bit of those flakes. I had no issues getting quite a bit of them out of the bottle. I do feel like the video, watching the playback here, is being color accurate to what I'm seeing in person. This is what I would consider a true sort of teal. It's not necessarily neon per se, but it's definitely vibrant with a very, very subtle muted effect to it. Now here on the full hand shot, I am wearing a glossy top coat. And next is Best Day Ever. This is a bright green crelly with shifting iridescent flakes and neon pink mix. So this is really spring in a bottle. This really starts to make me wish for warmer weather. And I know here in the South, we are still getting cold weather, and it's just making me want pool noodles and swimming and all that good stuff. So this sort of green, I wouldn't say is a neon per se, but it's still very vibrant in person. This has a somewhat lime sort of feel with it, and it's got just a bit of a grassy green sort of undertone with it. Now, I had no issues with those glitters, but I will note that this one does dry down quite flat and just a touch thirsty for top coat, which in my opinion is very indicative to crellies. So you're going to want to use a good glossy top coat and maybe a glitter smoother. It's really going to depend on your preference. This is just one of those that after your glossy top coat dries down, you might want to go in for a second one. And next is Your Birthday Was Last Year. This is a light blue crelly with neon glitter mix and gold flakies. So this is very much a very crelly type of formula. The application to this one reminds me of Eugene. So depending on your preference, you might want to go in for a 3rd coat on it. Again, I do feel like the video is being pretty color accurate to what I'm seeing in person. This does have that very light blue feel to it, but I almost want to say that it's got a somewhat dusky sort of undertone happening too. So just a little bit on the grayed outside, but still decently vibrant. And this has those lovely gold flakes that I love when Glam Polish uses in their crelly finishes. Very popping against whatever base color they're in. Now again, I had no problems getting glitters out of the bottle and onto my nails. You'll get a really nice scatter of them. And again, I'm going to suggest a good glossy top coat to finish this one off, as it also dries down quite flat too. And next is All Right Blondie. This is a lilac curly with shifting iridescent flakes and gold flakes. So very similar to Your Birthday Was Last Year. The base color to this is definitely the tangled purple, if you will. I do think it's one of those somewhat muted sort of purples, but again, still quite vibrant in person, but it's got this almost dusky sort of undertone happening with it, just like the previous ones. All Right Blondie, I'm going to suggest 3 coats on it for full opacity. I think it really helps to plump it out and get that base color to pop like crazy. And I think that it just evened out so much better at that 3rd coat. Now this one also dries down quite flat, though not so much thirsty, so I think any glossy top coat will be perfect to finish it off. And you'll get that really nice iridescent mix with the flakes that take on more of this pinky sort of effect when you build it up. And again, those gold flakes, I love them so much. They're so flattering, and it really feels like the movie Tangled in a bottle on this one. And next is I'm So Glad I Left My Tower. This is a hollow base with fuchsia flakes and gold flakes. When I worked on this one, I instantly thought how unique this shade was, just this finish in general. I really liked it. Again, another polish in the set that just instantly made me think of the overall color palette for the movie, and really lovely. So I would almost classify this one as a neutral, as it almost leans as a taupe sort of base as you build it up, in my opinion. And the flakes in this one are quite strong. As you can see, they really somewhat complement the base on this one, but those little purple flecks are a little bit bigger. So you'll get this interesting sort of almost kitchen sink finish, if you will. So quite a bit going on here. In very bright lights and in sunlight, you'll see that holographic effect. And in indoor lighting, it's this, again, really interesting sort of neutral effect with those strong appearance of the gold flakes. Now this also dries down flat, so I'm going to suggest a glossy top coat to finish this one off too. And next is, oh great, now I'm the bad guy. This is a berry curly with gold flakies and black glitter mix. Now this color, I was a little worried how it was going to come across on the video and on my swatches. I think that my photographs actually lean just a touch more on the redder side. So please note, in person, I do agree with the official description. This is a straight up berry color. There's almost a magenta undertone in person, but I would have to agree this is a true berry. Now this is just the slightest bit, maybe a shade or two darker in person than what you're seeing on the video. So I just really wanted to throw that out there, and not quite as red leaning as my swatches. Now this has a very creamy, curly sort of formula with it. I think most are going to be okay at 2 coats, but depending on how you apply, you might need a 3rd coat to just even it out and build it up. Now again, on my full hand shot, you are seeing a glossy top coat. Next is a little adventure, a little rebellion. This is a white curly with neon and metallic glitter mix. I do think that the base color to this one has a very strong milky white effect, and you can really get that idea on the first coat here. Now, I think this isn't so much as a stark white base color happening here. I think it's more of a neutral sort of white, almost like a softened sort of white, if you will. And I think it leaned quite a bit neutral on myself in terms of white. So this has quite a bit of a confetti mix, if you will, of glitters. I had no problems getting them out of the bottle either, so no need for fishing here. And it built up very nicely. Now on this one, depending on your preference, you might want to go in for a 3rd coat, but I really liked that milky white sort of appearance, so I thought that softened look at 2 coats was perfect, and finishing off with a glossy top coat gives you that really nice pond effect between the glitters too. And next we have At Last I See the Light. This is an indigo curly with fuchsia flakes and gold flakies. So again, we see the appearance of those wonderful little gold flakes. They're very metallic looking, and I think they popped really well against this base color. Now I do agree this is definitely an indigo base color, but I also want to classify it as a blurple, in that depending on your lighting, it might lean just a touch more blue, and some more dim lighting, it might also have a purpley sort of effect too. So this, I had no issues. Once again, getting flakes out of the bottle, everything behaved very nicely for me here. This has more of a true curly-like formula to me. It's very creamy, very self-leveling, easy peasy to build up, and stays where you put it. Just a really flattering shade overall. I really dig this base color. And you can see here on the full hand shot, 2 coats plumped it up very nice like a cream. And again, I finished off with a glossy top coat. And next is Flower Gleam and Glow. This is a bright yellow curly with neon and metallic glitter mix. Hands down, this is my favorite in the collection. I do enjoy yellow polish, but I'm very critical on it, as a lot of times my skin tone tends to cancel them out, make them look a little more neutral, what have you. But this is a straight up sunshine sort of yellow. It's quite vibrant in person, and I really loved how the glitter mix showed up in this. So it gives you that curly sort of appearance where you'll see it between your coats. I think for full opacity, 2 to 3 coats is going to be perfect, and I just really liked this base color. If you are like me and you're very warm undertoned, even having golden sort of undertones like myself, then I think this is a yellow that will pop on you too. So if you're picky on yellows like me, definitely recommend picking this one up. It's super fun. I think it's going to make a fantastic spring color too, especially for those of us in the northern hemisphere, I should say. and it self-levels very nicely. So that third coat, I think it just perfected it really well. So if you've got a very prominent free edge like myself, I think 3 is going to be perfect, but some of you might be able to get away with 2 coats, again, depending. And last but not least, we've got I've Got a Dream. This is a white curly with shifting metallic and iridescent flakies. So this is what I would consider more of a somewhat truer sort of white base, but again, I do think this one also has that milky sort of neutral white base to it. So a little more of a somewhat almost taupe sort of undertone, just real subtle there, but I'm not going to classify this one as a straight up stark white either. So the flakes in this one give that nice shredded sort of effect. They lay down nice and flat for me, no issues there. And for opacity, I'm going to suggest between 2 and 3 coats and you'll be good to go. I personally, again, had this general vibe of it being a milky sort of white, so I took it to that second coat and I thought it was fantastic. And then I finished off with a glossy top coat and it was good to go, and it just gave me that somewhat more delicate sort of feel in the overall finish. Now, the Lost Princess collection will release January 8th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time through Glam Polish's shop. I will link that below for you guys and the Facebook fan group if you want to see additional swatches and all that good stuff. For the first 72 hours, you can save 5% off on all individual shades in the store with the code TANGLED5, or 10% off all full collections in the store with the code TANGLED10. I'll break all of this down below in the description box. And as always, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching.